Yeah, not so strong, but he's strong. Like, he doesn't have to rely on anybody. He takes risk. That's why, like, life is about taking a risk. If you think that it's right, do it. You know, if you don't think it's right, don't do it. That's what Silver does. Silver doesn't have to look to a perfectionist to question his motives. That's what I liked about it. He questions his own motives. They just some of the other characters, they just don't do it. They don't question their own motives. They just do it, and then sometimes a lot of times they lose. At least Silver questions himself. That's what I like about he's got a he's more human than artificial. He's more of the fresh kind. You know, and he did his mission alone with no reliance. He was arrogant. I will tell you, he was arrogant. But he's arrogant because he's got the world on his shoulders. You gotta understand where this kid's coming from. He's got the world on his shoulders. All right, and he has not been taught any manners. He's got manners, but he can be very pushy. He doesn't. He's a child. Give the child a break. His kindness and compassion for all those child that he saved overshadowed his arrogance. He's a very kind-hearted, happy-go-lucky kid. And I don't believe that Silver has to prove himself worthy while other teenagers get the respect for being cool. Shadow got instant respect for being cool. Because he was a dark version of Shadow. And then when Shadow came back from Sonic Adventure, I never seen Sonic Adventure, but I know that it's based off of an episode off of Sonic X. Except that instead of Chris reminding him of Maria, it was Amy and Rouge. And this might be weird, but I liked Chris better. All right. I respect him. I didn't respect him before, but I saw an episode and I really started to understand him. And Chris Thorndike is another character that should deserve a lot more respect than he has. I don't understand why he is hated, but maybe if he didn't hog the spotlight, well, at least he had relevance to the story. At least at least he's a kid that will go on adventures with you and will help you, not like a certain Demisol in distress in Sonic 06. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, well, I don't. What was I saying about Chris Thorndike? And he wasn't a Demisol in distress. He overshadowed the Silver. Yeah, he was arrogant. Yeah. But yeah. Oh, Shadow. Shadow should have been dead. He should have been dead when he tried to destroy the Ark. He should have been in that ring. His eyes should have turned to dust beside his precious Maria. But no, they just had to return him back. And they strap on an AK-47 and he's shooting all these humans and everything. Don't get me wrong, I like Shadow the Hedgehog. It's one of my favorite games. However, it doesn't belong in a franchise called Sonic the Hedgehog. Just like the game 06, it was called Sonic the Hedgehog, but it doesn't seem like Sonic was the main character. I love the game, but I wish that Sonic was the main character. It seems like the game was molded to fit Shadow and Silver and Blaze's missions, while Sonic really didn't have relevance to the story. Even though he kind of did, not as much relevance as Silver and Shadow did. They were almost like the main characters, but the game was called Sonic the Hedgehog. That's what I didn't like. But other than that, give the game a try. It's a really good game. Even though it has a lot of glitches, it's a really fun game. It's interesting. Alright? Alright. And one more thing. Silver should get his own series. His own series, his own game, his own franchise. Give him his own cast. well, Shadow and Gardon, Marine, and if Blaze's attitude were to change, she can be in there with Gardon as well and Marine. They can be Team Soul. And then I had this crazy idea for a Sonic Heroes team with Silver as the leader, Shadow and Mephiles as Team Cutesy. You know, Team Cutesy might be a weird name for a team like this, but Team Cutesy is a sleeper team. Which means that they're more powerful than they look. With Shadow's lessened powers, then you got Mephiles' lessened powers as well.